This is Captain Gregory Daly using Port Vision 360, a tool provided by Lockheed, in order to look at historical AIS positions in time, which give courses and speed for all vessels all over the world using AIS. Large commercial vessels are required to use AIS, such as oil field vessels. In particular, we're going to study the Chris R. The Chris R misspelled its name in the AIS, CHRISOR, which makes it difficult to find. But once we found the location, we were able to backtrack to the right name. It will give the course and it'll give the speed during the grounding of the vessel. We're starting the playback on July 11th, 2022. I'm starting at 22:34. I'll be going in 1-minute increments manually. So the Chris R is located southwest of East Timbalier Island, and we will watch it as it crosses the breakwater and goes aground into the island itself. Okay, so here we go. This is at 22:35, 36. I'm just going to go ahead and click along here and let the vessel go. What's interesting to note is how close it is to the breakwater. Most vessels that pass in this area pass out in this area rather than coming so close to the breakwater. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on this area just to show exactly how it does cross the breakwater. Okay, we're at 22:54, 22:57. You can see the breakwater here. This is all stone that's used to relieve some of the stress on these islands. 23:03, 23:04. Look at how close it is. It's very, very close to the breakwater now. 23:08, 23:09. At 23:10, the port side allies with the breakwater and crosses the breakwater. The speed is at 7.8, but it drops off quickly to 0.6. It's pretty much all engines stopped. I'm going to back up just to see at what speed it did hit the breakwater, because that's important. Okay, so right here we're doing 8.9 knots. 8.9 knots, 8.9 knots, and it's hitting the breakwater at 8.9 knots. Crosses over the breakwater, stops, and then at 23:13, it kind of drifts north a little bit. Now it's underway again at 2 knots, going north into very, very shallow water, very shallow water. Turns to port. Not sure why it made that turn. Interesting turn. 23:24. It's turned back again to the east. And at 23:26, it turns again northbound and runs into extremely shallow water. And is aground. It is aground, 0.3 knots between the two East Timbalier Islands. 23:38. It's pretty much going to stay aground. I'm gonna scroll this on ahead to the next day and start the next day at midnight. Okay, there it is at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock is still aground. According to the logs, it stayed aground from running aground at 11 till it says it came off at, let's see what it says here, 12. It came off at, it says here at 0500. I'm sorry, it says here at 0300. 0300 to 0500 it was running. So let's see how close this is. So 0100, we're still going to be aground for quite a while. So rather than watch it stay aground, I'm going to scroll this ahead to 2 o'clock. Confirm it's still there. 2:15, 2:51. It's moved a little bit. Let's back that up a little bit and see what happens. 2:47. Okay, so it's moving around a little bit. Looks like they're trying to do something. I'm not sure what they're trying to do. At 2:52, it turns to south at a speed of 2 knots. 2:53, it comes back to the breakwater. 2:55, at 3 knots, it crosses over the rocks again, yet another time. 2:57, it's clear of the rocks and approaching deep water. Now I'm going to scroll out a little bit so that we can see a little bit. Oh, it's too much. I apologize. There we go. That's a good. Over here is Bell Pass. We're about 4 miles out from Bell Pass, just as the 2692 said it was. This is where we were. We crossed into the breakwater, ran aground up in here, crossed back out of the the breakwater, and we're headed south right now. We're headed south at 3 knots, southeast at 3 knots. And we're challenging the Miss Jane. The Miss Jane is doing 8.3 knots, and the Chris R is doing 3 knots. Looks like we've made a hard turn to port in order to miss the Miss Jane. Miss Jane, yeah, the Miss Jane. And we made another turn to starboard to continue our voyage south to get into deep water. And we have the Miss Mary passing behind us, the Chris R. Okay, so now it's 3:30 and we're still headed south. Again, Bell Pass is over here. Fushan is up in this area here. All right, let's continue on our way. 3:30, 3:31, 3:34. We make a turn to port. You see how the vessels tend to stay in this area here as they pass by Timbalier Island. It's dangerous to come as close as they did to the breakwater, and of course crossing the breakwater. Okay, so 3:41, and we're passing the Grey Cup, the vessel, the Grey Cup. It's doing 17.5 knots, and we're doing 5.8 knots. 3:48, 3:50 in the morning. And we're passing the Gloria May. She's doing 10 knots, and we are still doing 5.6 knots. Coming up to the entrance to Bell Pass, and now we have a vessel that wants to pass us, the Canyon Runner, that's doing 18 knots, and we have a vessel that we're going to meet, which is the Miss Deborah, doing 8 knots. 4:02, the vessel passes us, the Canyon Runner passes us. and we begin to enter Belle Pass. We're still doing 5.8 knots. Let me bring Belle Pass down here and Fushan down here, and we'll go on into Belle Pass. First buoy, we're getting ready to meet the patient's lab, doing 8.3 knots coming out of Belle Pass. He's at the second set of buoys. And we've crossed him or her. We've crossed the second set of buoys. And we're in Belle Pass. Okay, so as we go into Belle Pass at 4:30, we're by the dayboards, the markers, and we're crossing the Robert E. Mallard, a towing vessel, and we cross the Mr. Dean, another towing vessel, here in the entrance to Belle Pass. We turn up the canal, up the bayou, up Bayou Lafourche. We're going to cross two vessels. We're going to cross Duke, or meet Duke and Comma. Duke and Comma. And we're going to pass the Frederick Seaman. Pass Seaman, turn inbound. We're going to pass the Captain Elliot McCall, a passenger vessel, and the Odyssey Squire. It's 4:47. We continue on. We turn down into the slip. And we come down to the bottom. We have the Captain Rudy, the Dry Tortugas, and the Miss Alley at the bottom here. And we're going to come down and we're going to moor all the way to the east side at the fuel dock. 5:05, and it looks like we're secure at the fuel dock. Okay, so that's the history of the Chrysaor as it came back from Ship Show. I have to find the numbers. Stand by. Came back from Ship Show 198, leaving Ship Show 198 at 4 in the afternoon, running over the breakwater at East Timbalier Islands, and being aground on Timbalier Island from 1100 until 0300, 4 hours aground, and then coming back across the breakwater a second time and coming into Fushan at 5 knots. That's the end of this video.